And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cisco's. So, it has been a while since I last recorded a video. I believe the last time I actually recorded a video before I started uploading it, even into late May, was late April. So it's been a little over a month since I last recorded. However, I did not do too many things since then. Mainly, it was just making sure everything was at roughly tier 2 and or expanded in the colony, which is pretty cool. As for why it's been a while since I last recorded, well, that is because school got kinda very crazy towards the end. I underestimated exams and final projects that we were working on, so that kind of got me pretty good. Besides that, I did get a little bit into a brain fog and felt very exhausted just because of all the stuff we were doing. Let me turn off shaders just because it is kind of rough right now with how fast we move and everything. Even though it is beautiful, I do want to show you guys how amazing our colony looks at the moment. But yeah, I kind of fell into a brain fog and started playing a different video game just to get my mind off things. And the game I got myself into was called RimWorld. So I don't know if you guys ever played the game, but it's basically a colony builder, and it is pretty solid, honestly. One of the crazier games that I've ever gave a shot. So yeah, I highly recommend it. I mean, I usually jump to a new game whenever I get some crazy brain fog and or get exhausted of something. But yeah, this is our colony. Some things that I did work on offline was making this little hole. It's not fully complete, but I remember in the last episode we did talk about getting into create and getting a little power for refined storage. And with that in mind, I was thinking, where would I put a factory in our colony? Just because I do have this little empty lot. However, I do plan on putting the combat academy along here while we run the walls along. So maybe this spot right here is taken up, and then we have a little bit of room here. However, I don't think this is big enough for a proper factory. So instead, this will probably just end up being some more fields for us to get some more resources for our colonists, especially now that we are taking them, or we still have potatoes and steak. However, I do have the cookery producing what's it called, potato soup, so that they can get some proper saturation going on. So this hole is going to become a elevator, and that is going to take us down into a lower layer over here, which I do want to make into a small little factory. But I also wanted to run some tests in regards to power generation. So I kind of went a little ahead and set up a little lava farm. If you guys are curious about this, I can always show you guys how to make it, but it's relatively simple. It's a normal Minecraft little lava farm. So then you just get lava dripping into the cauldrons, and then you can pick it up. But the cool thing about Create is it does not require these guys to fill up. Oh, it looks like, yeah, it does. Never mind, I was wrong about that. But yeah, once these guys fill up completely, the fluid pipe over here will slowly drain this and put it into the fluid tank over here, which is pretty solid because this is usually constantly filling very frequently. So I will have a nice little lava reserve so that I can actually put it into a little area so that we can power ourselves a boiler. But yeah, on this side is where I do plan on having the elevator take us down to into this small little room that I've prepared. So this is very close to our nether portal, so kind of underestimated how big I wanted it, and by the time I built it and started placing blocks down, yeah, I mean, it shows there, but I don't really care. It's just 2 blocks out of everything here, and I thought this was a pretty nice design. But yeah, I do plan on having this be the area for simple testing, which is going to be pretty fun just because I'll show you guys something in a moment. But yeah, this is going to be testing area, and then once my testing is done, we'll set up proper create farms or utilities. But let's get out and go back to our little area over here before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. So when we do come down here, as I showed you guys in the last episode, we do have some create wheels or water wheels, and then beam gear ratio to make it faster, and that is then, well, was previously connected to an alternator that was producing 90 FE per tick. However, I don't think the alternator produces any FE higher than 90. I think it is capped 90. So that kind of blows and may, I don't know, how I said, I do want to run some testing. But as of right now, it kind of blows because I believe we are going to need at least 9,000 units or 4,096 units of power going into the controller whenever we do put the unlimited range and dimensional. So I could be wrong, it might be higher. But yeah, so what I have been experimenting on recently, now that I've gotten back to this, is the other way of powering things in Create. And that is through magnets. So instead of using the alternator and producing 90, this method still needs to be tested just because, how I said, we are most likely going to be using a actual boiler to power things. So using these water wheels kind of makes it a little hard to gauge how efficient magnets are. And another thing is the magnets that we are using are of low quality. So just to showcase a small little glimpse of what you guys can expect in the future as I start getting a little bit more into it. But here I do have some stress going over here and being transferred over here. So what is the stress doing? Well, it is rotating these generator coils, which then are spun and or using the generator coils and the magnetite blocks in conjunction, we can produce energy. As you can see, these magnetite blocks are of low quality, so we only get a 33% efficiency. And as you can see, we do use a lot of stress for this, so that's why I do want to test it. But if we come over here to this side, I do have carbon brushes so that we can actually use the magnetic fields to produce some energy, to which it is sent to the connector and then sent to this one over here and over there. And it is really nice. It reminds me of immersive engineering with how the wiring works, and I'm pretty sure that is the is what this model is based off of, just because immersive engineering, so wiring can be beautiful even though it can be complicated. Just depends on who you ask. But yeah, as you can see, if we were to use one coil, we would be producing 22 FE per tick. However, now that we have two coils, we are producing 44, which at this stage, it is more than plenty for our little grid system over here. However, as you guys saw in the last episode, the alternator does produce 90, and that is why I do want to run a couple tests, just because if the alternator produces 90, and depending on how much stress it will utilize, then it might be better to use a boiler to just be connected to many alternators at 90, and or it would be better to use these generator coils, just because, how I said, these magnets are not that good. But if we come over here and type magnet, there is many variations. So right now we are using a magnetite block, which has a magnetic force of 1, hence the low efficiency. However, we can increase efficiency by double using a redstone magnet, then increase it again using a layered magnet, followed by the fluctuated magnet and the netherite magnet. As you can see, the numbers do increase, which means they become more and more efficient. And if we were to click on this, as you can see, they do have different recipes. Once we get here, as you can see, we need overcharged stuff, which kind of follows a power mod charging template, which is pretty cool. And then over here, we have the fluctuating magnet, which is probably the more expensive one, requiring 4 different magnetite blocks. And then having these overcharged stuff, I think the magnetite is the hard issue here, unless you make a create machine to help you mine, which we might do in the future. But over here, this is probably the most expensive version, and the one that I would rather jump into if we are not using the redstone magnet. So odds are we may primarily use the redstone magnet and then the layered magnet and then skip the fluctuated and go into netherite. As you can see, I do not know what the efficiency percentages are like as we go through the motion. However, I do think I have some redstone magnets, so I kind of want to test that out real quick. So, redstone, nope. Okay, yeah, well, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the Modpack was recently updated to 3B. 3A was causing a lot of issues just because a lot of people were trying to utilize mine colonies and it was crashing like crazy, so I have been playing on 2F. But now that we are back on the most recently updated version, something that we can talk about is mine colonies has been reverted to the original in 2F, so that should work nicely. There is somebody in the comments area of the Modpack page where they mentioned how you can fix the stuttering AI. If you guys would like a little tip on that, just let me know and I will more than gladly help you guys with that. With the more present Modpack change, we do have vestiges of the present. That's usually whenever you accomplish achievement, you get a little present that kind of helps you out. I don't know too much about it. I don't really care that much about it. That's why I will be playing with this update and see how it goes. And just in case I do find a bug and or a glitch that may cause a huge issue, I may have to go into creative, or I will revert back to 2F, see if there's no crazy bug like crashing changes that may have occurred. If there is, then I will be utilizing the footage to help me fix things. I will do my best to do it in survival. However, if there's some things that I got to do in creative, I will revert to that and I'll let you guys know if I did have to do that. So just letting you guys know in advance, just so you guys have an idea of what's going on. But yeah, magnets, a very cool thing, something I do want to test out just because if this efficiency does double here and then goes up crazy amounts, then this may be the best way of producing power, and getting a nice little farm utilizing that would be very beneficial. So to get into the actual meat and potatoes of this episode, we are going to sleep first and then go fight a couple bosses, just because that's one of the main things about Cisco's. It's usually fighting a boss, getting something, and getting a little bit stronger and stronger and stronger until you become the strongest person here. So one thing I do want to mention is the fact that I did manage to get all 12 eyes. It did take me forever. If you are wondering how to get these guys, Evil Eye can be purchased. Magical Eye, just kill some evokers. Exotic Eye, craftable. Nether, undead, craftable. Wither, just slay the Wither. Guardian, kill the Guardian. Rogue, I believe this is the jungle. Corrupted Eye, I got these from the Barbarians, but I'm pretty sure Pillager Outposts have these. Lost Eye, don't remember. Old Eye, supposed to be the pyramid chest, I believe. This one should be able to be found in any sort of dungeon. However, I found these 3 in dungeons. This one from the Barbarian huts, if you guys remember. Killing the... And yeah, this one that can be purchased. If you're wondering how you can purchase it, well, I did create a few of these traders over here. I do have a few more clerics in a chest, just because I was going through these guys quite often, so that you can level them up, and once you get them to the level of master, they do have a chance of selling you an evil eye, As you can see, this guy was asking for 36 emeralds and a rabbit's foot. However, I do have the villager's hat completely maxed out, as well as having this discount voucher. So I believe the trade was like 7 emeralds and a rabbit's foot. I highly recommend, if you have this villager's hat, to wear it as you are trying to level them up and as you are trying to get some emeralds. Just because if you guys take a look over here with the Fletcher, if we wear it, it does discount it. So if we were to actually throw this back on real quick and take a look over here, 7 sticks per emerald. You can farm so many emeralds so very quickly. It is kind of crazy. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you are doing that. I did want to fight a couple bosses, so let's actually get into that. And let's first head into the nether. Things that I may have not mentioned. Let's see. Besides building, nothing much, honestly. Let's go to the Decay King. Am I in the lava? Of course I am. Why? Because I put it on the edge. Beautiful. Okay, dude. Calm down. I am not trying to get one-shotted. That's why I do want to try getting to L2 hostilities as soon as I can. But first, let's see. Let's come over here, zoom in a little bit, because I do plan on fighting Ignis, so that's one thing over here. Deus Infectorum. I did slay the Captain Cornelia offline, as well as the Void Blossom and Ferris Rotnot, just because this guy is complete garbage. Or I hate having to go around and do the maze stuff just to find this, or find the thing that's needed to summon this guy. It's one of the most painful, excruciating hate. I just hate the process for this guy. The mod itself, really cool. Just having to summon this guy and fight him, absolutely hate it with a passion, a crazy passion. Void Blossom, this guy could just be found slightly right above Bedrock Layer. I kind of just used the Explorer's Compass to find it. Ferris Rotnot, I kind of showcased it in one of the previous episodes. I just didn't fight him, kind of forgot about him. But now that we are here, let's fight the Decaying King. He should be over here in the nether in something like that, I believe. Let's see. We press M. Okay, his name is not popping up. Oh, I gotta love this. Every single time you update the mod pack, sometimes this stuff just changes completely. Okay, this is on. I guess there's some things that I gotta do. I don't feel like dealing with this right now. Oh well. Okay, there we go. There he is, Decaying King. I guess that fixed it. But first, damn, I wanted. Okay, there's a lot of things that I wanted to do that I was called out on. So first, let's fight this guy, go back to base, and then we'll do the damage test. But yeah, so Decaying King. To fight this guy, I mean, just come over here to the nether. Do I want this? I mean, better safe than sorry. Do that, do Echoing Strikes, and look at this. 7,000. I believe this may be lower than intended. I think I don't have something, or I might need to rearrange some stuff. I will double check that in the future. However, now that we have this on, let's just do this just in case. Evasion, jump down here, do what we always do, just hold swipe and get close by. One tap him, just to get this done and over with. As you can see, his primary attack is swiping and shooting those little fire nuggets at you. But okay, cool. We got what we needed from that. And okay, dude, calm down. And with that, let's come back to base. Boom. In one of the episodes, I did talk about how we made armor with insane damage output. In the comments, I did leave the damage output values of the previous gear. However, with this gear, since it is a little bit more boosted and enhanced, we do higher damage. So kind of sucks that we do have Echoing Strikes and Charge right now, because this means we are buffed, but that's also pretty nice because then I can showcase the damage real quick. So a single hit with our buffs on And with this armor, as you can see, I think that hit a million, 1.1 million, if I'm not mistaken. And then the tick down is in the hundreds of thousands. So let's try this again, and then we'll do a little bit of sustained damage. That guy does drop this sword, which honestly, if it wasn't for Cisco's the Cisco's crafting system where you can increase the damage of your weapons, this would be a very nice sword because it has an automatic healing factor called Omnivamp. So whenever you hit an enemy, you do heal. It is a little thing from League of Legends. If you guys don't know, if you don't play that game, I do. I know, horrible, but I got rid of playing it normally. I only play ARAM, so that's a huge improvement. Been that way for over a year. But yeah, as you can see, that second pulse usually does the 1.1 millions of damage with the gear, so it's really nice. And then if we do a sustained attack for like 5 seconds, I'm pretty sure the damage value goes up immensely. I do have this little area prepared for Ars Nouveau because I do want to get into it. I have been saying that I have been wanting to increase the amount of damage types we have available, yet I have not really delved into that or dived. Don't know which is the proper word to use there, but if we just hold down the attacks for a moment, looks like it got close to 3 million, but how I said, I think some things are not stacking properly. I think the update might have messed with the stuff, so I might have to take off the gems and reapply them to ensure that these effects are stacking properly, because this is a little weird. Let's see, does this increase our damage? I don't remember, and I don't think so. But yeah, let's do that sustained attack again. So then, as you can see, we have a huge issue. Okay, 13 million. But yeah, we do have a huge issue registering our proper damage just because of how fast our true attack speed is. As you can see, we are at 6.47. So the game and this little dummy can't really keep up appropriately. I might have to drop the attack speed for this to maybe function a little bit better, but yeah, kind of insane damage. But besides that, there is another guy that we do want to fight, and since it is daytime, let's find the area over here. We are going to throw down the little altar, summon him, take him out, and when he is dealt with, the next guy should be relatively easy as well. So now that we are over here, just like where we fought the other guy, we will summon this dude. I'm pretty sure it's the Blackstone Pedestal and the Shard of Uncertainty to summon the Monarch of Chaos. So if we throw this down and right click it, boom, dude is here just like that. Pretty cool. Oh, he hit us, but if we zoom in, we can see he has Reflect, Reprint, and Withering 1. Looks like he spawns some Chunguses to attack us, shoot some projectiles, and on top of that does spawn some Withers. So don't know what he was doing running around like that. And it looks like wherever he lands, he drops the Withering stuff. Oh, they are also called Chungus. That's awesome. I love it. But just like that, these guys are dealt with. We could leave those guys alone. I don't really care too much about it. You, though, you are crazy fast. What? I don't know. I don't get it. But you know what? I ain't gonna complain. Yeah, these are just normal wither skeletons. So let's go back to base and then drop off some of this stuff, because what the heck is the Chungus Emerald? Okay, can be made into a music disc. If we come over here, can be made into the Chungus Tonic. Haste 3 Saturation, and then Chungus Tonic cannot be converted into Potion Charm. Okay, what does just the Chungus Tonic portion do? Is it gonna convert us into a Chungus for X amount of time? That would be pretty funny. As for this emerald block, it looks like this has absolutely zero value, but you know what? I like it. Let's do this. Throw that in there. Make it all into blocks just to save some space. Lord Soul. Ooh, I did not know we get this from that. Wool, the soul, heart, infused, recipe page. This might be something worth looking into in the future, but for right now, let's drop all this other stuff. Ooh, we get a template. I don't know who dropped that, but that's actually super neat. And the crown. Okay, cool. So all this stuff, since we won't be utilizing it, we can just toss it here. Maybe look into it in the future. But for right now, don't really care, because I believe the next guy up on our list is to slay Ignis, which can be found in the Burning Arena in the Nether, which I already found the place, just so we can save ourselves some time. And if we are to click over here, boom, this is the Burning Arena. We are in the floral layer, so if you truly played this without an elytra up and or ability to fly, then you would have to climb up these stairs all the way up. And just like that, we are here. I'm pretty sure these guys are kind of like the guardians before you could keep ascending or not. What are you guys? I have no clue. What if I shoot you? Imperfect thing. Kill an Ignis Revenant. Well, thank you for your sacrifice. Looks like you may be useful. Oh. Looks like Iron Spells was updated in this. It's kind of hard to see the projectile, if I'm being honest, but it does look like it has particle effects now. That's pretty cool. And now it's a shining projectile instead of a little cube. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Can't lie. I like it. Yeah. As we climb up, I'm gonna get over here, and then we have the altar of fire, which I believe we can just right click. Oi! Give me my sword! Oh my goodness, that is not cool. So, how do I get this to work? One of these guys? Oh, yep. Okay, cool. We figured it out. Let's do this. Let's do that. Looks like this guy spawns. We do this, and we got Ignis. As you can see, pretty solid design. Let's see. Let's zoom in. Okay. Ooh, don't want to get hit by him. I just want a quick screenshot. Okay. Let's see if we can get him. Okay, boom. And thank you for showing me how you look. Now let's take care of him real quick, just because the music is kind of loud. Okay, switch to this. Shoot him. Looks like he might have taken a little bit of damage. Take care of that guy. Take out the blaze. Let's just keep shooting them. And then let's try attacking him. Ooh, change form. And then let's see. What if I do this? Hold up. Tanky, speedy, weaken. Okay, he does not have adaptive. Music is kind of loud. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Okay, let's... Ooh, music change. Let's see. Ooh. This is beautiful. I cannot lie. Okay, let's take care of these blazes. I don't know if they do anything specific for them. And just like that, he has been slayed. But that was a very beautiful boss fight. I cannot lie. Okay, cool. And just like that, that is Ignis. Looks like we can always summon him again as long as we have these burning ashes, which I do have a few of. Let's check out what's in this chest. Looks like we have a blaze spawner right there, which is going to be very nice in just a moment. I just wanted to look here real quick, see what there is. But yeah, I do have some empty blaze burners. And to make these guys, you just need 4 iron plates and netherrack to make this. These guys are very useful as conductors, traders, I'm pretty sure you could also use them for the create storage system, but most importantly, using them as a source of a heater or mixing and or for your boiler tanks in create. And you could either right click a blaze themselves to pick them up, and or you could just right click the blaze spawner, which is usually the easier option, just to fill them up. And just like that, we can utilize this whenever we so choose. Okay, just like that, took care of the bosses that I wanted to from the list. In the next episode, I do think we might get into a little bit more apotheosis, just because it is pretty much time for us to upgrade our seashells to the next tier, and then we'll see what type of enchantments we could get, and then maybe probably go fight the Ender Dragon, just because that's going to be a nice little intro into the next segment of the series. But yeah, if you guys have played this mod pack and have anything you guys would like to see, let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to get to them, because I really do enjoy playing this and I kind of have a little bit of experience in beating the pack. I don't know how many changes that have been made in the previous updates that may have made this a little harder and or easier to do. So if you guys want to see any farms, just let me know down in the comments, and while you are down there, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But yeah, just like that, we took care of all the main bosses. So over here in Deus Infectorum, the next guy is the Warden, who, if you guys don't know, will drop sculk blocks, little echoing shards, and or tendrils, which is what is needed for apotheosis enchantment setups to be improved. That's why I wanted to do this episode, just so that you guys can follow along with me. Let's see, Age of Dragons. I mean, this isn't too crazy. It's just play a couple of these dragons. So far, I think I need 1 more ice dragon, and then gotta look for a couple of lightning dragons before we could come over here to tame a dragon, which this is not really taming a dragon. You cannot do that. What it's referring to is collecting an egg of any sort of dragon, which, if you guys remembered in the previous episodes, we did go down into a few dragon caves. Those dragons are usually stage 4 and or stage 5, and if you are lucky and one of them is a female dragon, there is a chance that they will drop a dragon egg, which is what you need to get your own dragon. That is what this is. And then of course you got to make your dragon staff, which helps you give them commands. And then here, just a little thing to show you how you can use these eyes of whatever dragon type to find the dragon caves that are underground. So if you click over here, just because I don't know why this isn't mentioned before all that other stuff, but yeah, you get an ender pearl, you mix it with some of the dragon blood of whatever type you are trying to find, get into the region where they can be found, throw this dragonite, and it should lead you to the lair. So if you're wondering how you get the fire blood, you kill that dragon, use an empty glass bottle and right click the body before it turns to bones. If you turn it into bones and then you try right clicking, it will not work. You need to right click it with meat on the body. So you can get up to 5 of these glass bottles if you wanted to get as much blood as you want. So whenever you slay a fire dragon above ground, right click it 5 times with glass bottles, you'll get 5 eyes, and then you could use those eyes to locate the lairs. Yes, they do work like Eye of Enders, so they do have a chance to be destroyed upon use. However, they are pretty decent at lasting quite a while, unless they change that in an update. I don't know. I said it's been a minute. But yeah, just like that, we have finished a couple of those, talked a little bit about the Age of Dragons, and when we come over here to the Champion Trials, I'm pretty sure Ignis was one of the guys. Well, I mean, I don't know why this didn't work. Oh, it's because they wanted me to make that. The Flame King, you know what? Kind of annoying, but we did that. We have all the eyes. It might be time to work on our, or take down the Warden, upgrade our apotheosis area, and then maybe go into the end and slay the Ender Dragon, which would be pretty cool. I mean, I already have this, so I don't know. But yeah, once we slay the Ender Dragon, we'll have access to even more materials that's needed for Ars Nouveau, so I think that would probably be a very good time to get into it. Not to mention, there's a gem farm that I've been wanting to make for a while, and I've been putting it off until we go to the end, just because it is so much more efficient to make the gem farm in the end, where you don't have to worry about too many entities spawning and cramming. So I will be waiting till I get over there. I don't know the reason why, however, all I gotta say is YouTubers that do figure out the absolute specifics of this stuff set up the Dragon Me Gem farm in the end a majority of the time. So I'm just gonna follow suit and do the same thing. So don't ask me why I'm doing it there, just know it's efficient. I've done it there before, it's worked beautifully. End of story. Sorry, I don't know what else to tell you. But with that, the second part of the episode, I did want to get into L2 hostilities because that is something else somebody mentioned. So besides the, oh, you should showcase how much damage you do, which I think we topped out at 13 million currently. But at the same time, how I said, the dummy has a very hard time actually registering our proper damage because of how fast we attack. They did say to get into L2 hostilities just because it is something that can negate how strong you get and allow mobs to one-tap you. So, getting into L2 hostilities, some of the things that you probably need in the very beginning is these detector glasses. So what does this allow you to do? Well, when you have it equipped, you will be able to see all the invisible mobs. Invisibility is one of the traits the mobs can get. So if you were ever slayed randomly and you had no clue what happened or who was attacking you, or whatever the case may be, those mobs may have been invisible. These glasses allows you to see them, but they also work in conjunction with other stuff. So over here we do have the hostility detector. This helps, as you can see from the little thing, it says shows player and regional difficulty information when held in hand and or the offhand. So let's take this off, but as you can see, if we are holding it, it says in this area the mob rank trait limit is legendary, so we could be fighting some very difficult mobs. As you can see from this area, this chunk based difficulty is 13, and if we come over here it is 9. I'm pretty sure if we start going around in different places that may be farther from our base, which would mean the difficulty should drop significantly. So I will come over here to the insane sugarcane area. As you can see, the chunk based difficulty has dropped to 1. That is because I am hardly ever over here, so that means I'm not slaying any enemies, so those enemies will not have that much increase in their difficulty level. As you can see, our player difficulty is 78 plus 20, so it's 98 plus 1 for the chunk based difficulty, so you can usually see these guys over here at like the 98 to 99 level range, whereas if we come over here closer to our let's see, let's drop down here, like right here, I believe this is closer to where our mob spawner is. As you can see, it is 14, so mobs that would spawn here should be in the range of like 110s plus, and then these guys will have some crazy traits. The mob trait rank is just because we've slayed a lot of enemies and we haven't died. However, if you were to die, I mean, the difficulty drops, and so does the trait limit. So depending on how strong the enemies are, and if you don't want to be encountering certain people, you can just kill yourself a couple times. I know YouTube doesn't like that saying, but in this mod pack or wherever L2 hostilities is, it is kind of essential depending on what you are trying to do and what bosses you are fighting and how geared you are. So yeah, I mean, all that stuff can also be found over here. It's just this is a little more convenient. And then another thing is, if you were to hold this and equip the detector goggles at the same time, then what was it? You could see regions of cleared hostility. So, technically, I don't have any regions of cleared hostility, but you could basically set an area to basically 0 normal Minecraft mobs. And the way you do that is if you come over here, I'm pretty sure I have orbs over here. Let's see. Orb. Yeah, these hostility orbs that you get randomly. These can make 5x5x5 sections, no longer spawn mobs with levels. So these will spawn normal vanilla Minecraft mobs, which honestly is very nice, especially if you are running mine colonies, just because you don't want these guys constantly dying to creepers and, or not really creepers, more spiders, zombies, skeletons, pillagers, barbarians, if they are out leveled, just because these guys don't have a level on them. So if you're planning on doing mine colonies, it might be very beneficial to utilize those orbs around here. However, there's also another way of doing it, and that is through a certain type of spawner. Let's see. Yes, this hostility spawner, which you can craft using some remnant shards of explosion, a star, some netherite, and a cursed chocolate. So when you put this down in a chunk, you can right click it to summon some mobs that are really strong. As soon as you slay them all, that chunk will no longer spawn mobs with levels. So this is another way of doing it, especially since those orbs can have a use. Let's see, orb and oh, let's see, hostility. Okay, there it is. Hostility orb. I don't know if I just didn't see it before, but as you can see, these guys do have a use. So it might be more beneficial saving these for crafting recipes. Whereas before, how I said, it can clear a big area. Just take your time with the hostility spawner, just because you are going to need chaos ingots for stuff. I don't know if I will ever make this divinity light. But the chaos ingots you are going to need, because then that allows you to make miracle ingots, as well as using the chaos, you can make the chaotic looting charm, which then lets you get some trade drops. How I said in one of the episodes, you are going to need I'm pretty sure it's this one. This is the most basic looting charm, so you can start collecting some of the stuff from L2 hostilities to make this one, which is the next charm that you are going to need to get even more stuff, to which then leads into the miraculous or the chaos, which, how I said, you can only get this by having the previous version and slaying mobs with certain traits. And then you do need to craft this, which this can be a little hard to make this, but once you make this one, then you will also be able to make this one, which this is the last tier. And once you make this, you should be able to make your own curses charm or your curse charms, which this then can help you depending on what you are looking for. So if we take a quick look at the chaos ingot, as you can see, you do need some unliving ice, some soul flames, the remnant shards of explosion, and then bottle of curse, and then the essence of wind, and then the orb that I mentioned earlier. So if you have been playing and have not utilized the orb, oh, northwest. So from this area, we got some people coming. Okay, where? Oh, they are this way. Yep, this way. Okay, cool. Well, I'll take care of you guys real quick. As you guys can see, the barbarians do spawn at such high levels. How many barbarians was that? So it looks like there was 6, because as soon as I slayed one, it says only 5. But yeah, as you can see, those guys do spawn at level 90s. That's why I highly recommend using the hostility thing along the edges of your colony, not in it, because in it, mobs will only spawn. However, if you do have it decently lit up like this, it is enough to prevent mob spawns. However, along the edges, that's where the barbarians will spawn. So that's where you would most likely like to use those spawners. It can take quite a while, but that'll also allow you to farm some souls. Okay, let's get back to this real quick. But yeah, this you can get from slaying enemies with certain traits. Same with this one, this you accumulate over time. As for the Bottle of Curse, all you need to do is put a curse droplet, which will be dropped by enemies over time as long as you are wearing this loot charm. How I said, certain things will drop depending on which loot charm you're wearing, but if you're trying to get to this one and you have this one equipped, this stuff will drop on its own. Just I say don't worry too much about farming it. As long as you have a mob farm or XP farm and you have levels available there and traits, you'll get a few of these guys. So yeah, so you just have to make 2 sets of these, and then boom, you get this. The only one that might give you a little trouble is the Essence of Wind. That is because you need to be flying faster than 200 blocks per second while having the wind bottle in your hand or inventory. So, if I am not wrong, this can also be collected by running faster than 200 blocks per second. It's just flying is the faster and most obvious choice in the matter, just because elytras can get really fast when you're using it. I believe if you're diving down and speeding yourself up, it's probably the fastest way of doing it, which I already have the stuff, so I will do that real quick, test it out. But first, let's take off this, put the helmet back on. This can be equipped in the head slot, so you can always see invisible enemies, and then you can always switch it out to whatever equipment you may need. So for right now, what I do want to do is kind of clear our inventory up just a bit, so that we can put all of these bottles like so. I will have to put like this just in case. So let's see our food, and just like that, it is full again. Let's get our elytra, and let's get some tier 3 rockets, which if you guys don't know how to make this, you're just putting paper and gunpowder. That's how you get tier 1. 2 pieces of gunpowder with 1 paper, that's a tier 2. 3 pieces of gunpowder with paper is tier 3. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I just always reiterate it so people can understand. Let's put this elytra on. Replaces our little shield, which is not too bad. So let's come up here, and it's nice because then that lets us keep our armor stats up. So yeah, just like that. If we turn off our flight and just, oh, really? So we must slay the Ender Dragon before we are allowed to use the elytra. Really? No? What? Oh, what? That's crazy. That is insane, because that means this is locked. But, you know how we can negate it? By just flying up and maybe flying down and aiming down with our elytra? Let's see if that is the way to bypass it, because what? I did not know this was a thing. I didn't know. Alright. And with that, let's just aim straight down. It looks like that was not fast enough, so we do need to probably aim down and spam a couple rockets for that to work. Wow, that is interesting. I learned something new, and hopefully you guys learned too. That to use these rockets with an elytra in this mod pack, we do need, wow, we do need to slay the Ender Dragon. That is insane. But yeah, I mean, our colony looks pretty nice. It is slowly getting developed. I have been highly relying on these guys to get their job done. It looks like they finally finished this damn mechanics hut. I swear these guys just couldn't finish this, but at the same time, I think it's because I forgot to include them in my chunk radius. Now I do have like a chunk outlier on all of these, except right here. Let's do that. Boom. Nope, I need to get closer this way to get that chunk. I do have like a chunk radius on the edges of all the, let's see, let's pull this out. Because as you can see, it's all like this. If I stand right here, this is a chunk of the colony. If I come over here, this is not chunk loaded. Okay, cool. I do try getting all the edges chunk loaded, except for this area, just because they have no reason to wander over here. But everywhere else, they kind of do. So I have it chunk loaded so they can move around. One thing that I do want to mention, thanks to, I guess, so there's a file called server core in the Cisco's mod pack. And if you are to go into that server core, I believe it's also in the config. So you go to Cisco's configs, server core, and you open that up, and then you go into the config YML weird looking thing, because there's only going to be 2 files. Go to the config one, open that up, and then using notepad editor or whatever choice you choose, you can edit a line. It should be in the one, I'm pretty sure it's 159. However, depending on how your computer organizes it, it could be in the 140 to 170 range. Look for one that says mine colonies activation range enabled. It should be set to true automatically. However, if you set it to false, that means you do not have to be in the vicinity of your colony for them to work. So if you leave your colony, but you leave them with supplies, they will work without you being there. However, if you do not set that to false and it is set to true, that means you will need to be in the vicinity of the colonists for them to continue working. So say I was here, that guy would probably be stuttering like crazy. He would not be moving at all. It would suck until I get close by, and then all of a sudden he's running super quick, getting to places, maybe building very quickly, basically acting like how he should. This was done by default, I'm pretty sure by Cisco, just so that the servers don't lag and whatnot. However, if you're playing on a solo world or on a server with very few friends and you guys aren't doing anything too intensive and you guys are all sharing a colony or two, then by fixing that little thing, then your colonists should be able to move and do things, and it'll look really cool, especially if you guys are all developing your own colony. I mean, I think that would be pretty cool because you could technically wage war with one another if you guys didn't know. And that would be pretty cool. See whose colony is the strongest, see what armors you guys give them, and just let them have at it with each other while you guys do your own thing. Because then you could have your guys fighting, colony will work as such, build your own little stuff on the side, make it very developed, make it super nice. And that's kind of the plan we're going for, because we do need to spread the truth of the world to these people. But yeah, in this episode we kind of went over a little bit of L2 hostilities. Looks like I couldn't showcase how to make the chaos ingot because I did not know we were capped with slaying the Ender Dragon. That was something surprising, but I did show you guys a little bit of L2, kind of how the progress goes. I mean, it's kind of hard to show you guys and tell you guys like, oh, you do this to do this. Nah, just make the most basic looting charm, throw that on. As soon as you have that on and you're slaying enemies, you're gonna get stuff to make the second one. And then this one needs Dragon Breath, which we managed to get. I mean, you could get it from slaying enemies with certain traits, but we got this from slaying some of those enemies in the Aether, which was very nice. So then you make this one, and then once you put this one on, you start slaying enemies, you get the stuff that you are going to need to make this one, as well as the stuff to make the Chaos Ingot. It's just, looks like this guy is capped. So if you guys can figure out a way to get this without slaying the Ender Dragon, let me know down in the comments. However, if you can't, seems like slaying the Ender Dragon is gonna come relatively soon, so that we can actually progress. What do you mean you've worked enough today? How dare you? You got sick. Oh. So we are interesting. So it does look like we are using a newer version of mine colonies compared to before. It's just not the most latest release, I believe. I don't know, because I am pretty sure we did not see any indicator like that previously. Interesting. I mean, that's pretty cool. It's a nice little subtle change. It's nice. I welcome it. But yeah, let me know what you guys are excited for. Hopefully, if you guys are also playing the series, you guys are having a grand time working on your own colony, and or maybe you decided to skip mine colonies and are just building yourself. Or who knows, maybe you just came here to do fat damage and basically leave once you are done defeating everything. But yeah, before we wrap up this episode, I just wanted to reiterate that next episode I do plan on going down into the ancient city, slaying the warden, and then possibly upgrading our uh, little enchantment setup. As for enchanting stuff, I don't think I'm going to worry too much about that. Instead, what I will do is possibly also enter the end, just because if we are capped with L2 hostilities with the end, I mean, I think it is a good time now, if any, to get that done, just because that would open up L2 hostilities. That would also open up more portions of the quest book. On top of that, we will finally be able to start our gem farm. And yeah, that I think that's what we might do next episode. So if you guys are excited for that, let me know down in the comments. If you guys have anything you would like to see and or have any comments, questions, and or concerns, leave them down below. If you guys are enjoying the series, make sure to hit that like button. And if you guys want to follow along, make sure to subscribe so that you guys are notified whenever I upload a new episode. But with that, guys, thank you guys for watching. And until next time, peace.